Right, so what's happened here is that I've taken option A. If you look at option A, where we're looking at formal, major, minor, and formative, and I've set up the assignment groups according to that. So formal, major, minor, purely formative, they're the four options I've got, and I'm weighting them in this way. Okay. So here we can see, if I just hide the actual individual assignments, we'll see the four groups. So formals at 50%, major at 40, minor at 10, and formative at 0. Of course, I've got the option to edit all of this. Let's look at formal straight away. And formal, there are two exam papers here, let's say semester exams, and both are worth 80 marks. That's set up that way. Again, I can edit all of these things. Major, there are 3 tests, let's say call them tests, during the course of the semester, each worth 60 marks. Minor, 4 tasks here, each worth 10 marks. And formative, there are a number of things here. Some of them worth marks, some of them weren't. The fact is, if I graded this out of 20, gave it a mark, it still wouldn't count to the final total because it's 0%. Okay, so these are things I can do here. Note, because of the formal, major, minor, each of the actual tasks is worth the same number of points. And if I change those points, for example, if I change this to, let's say, edit it and change it to 100, what will happen is that in any final grade calculation, this is just working away here, if you give me a second, any final grade calculation, this test 1 will be weighted more heavily than the other 2 tests. Okay, so it's a very simple, within each group, you simply add up the marks scored for each of the activities and divide by the total. Okay. So what happens when we look at the actual grade book? And let's go to grades. And we're looking in here. Sorry about the slight delay. It's churning away. Okay. So what we see is it just happens that this Justin student has got a 24 out of 80 on paper 1 of the exam. Okay. And you notice that 24 out of 80 translates into 30%. The way things are fixed, that this will keep a running score of what has been submitted. So in that sense, these are not included in any calculation. So 30%, 24 out of 80 is all there is. Okay, so we'll get a report of their total currently at 30%. Okay, if that makes sense. If I look at the actual individual student, we'll see this, and so nothing's been done so far in any of these. Okay, we can see where the weighting is there. Okay, and we've got we can get more details as well. Okay, if we want them, and we can also see how the scores have been derived. 30% is again coming from paper 1. Okay, so that's one way of doing this. Okay. Now, in the paper, let's go back to demo. In the actual paper, of course, we can set this up differently. Option B would be where the groups would be Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3. I weight them accordingly. Within there, the assignments are major and minor. That's one way of doing it, a chronological view. Another option would be around skill types. Again, you might weight according to your skill type, and you would put the assignments in there depending on the skill. Of course, you could put different components of the assignment in there. That might confuse things a little bit in terms of how you do this. Okay, but you can, in theory, put different components of exams within these skill types. And finally, you can make up your own version as you like. Okay, so that's where we are with this.